I have a question for you. Have you ever wanted to create a vegetable garden but you don't really like the way it looks? Or maybe you're like me where you live in town and a traditional vegetable garden kind of looks out of place? I am a very passionate hobbyist when it comes to landscape design, and I love my flower gardens to look perfect. So when it comes to vegetable gardens, I want the same thing. I've had raised garden boxes, but I decided to remake them all and make them more attractive, and so I thought I'd bring you along and break it down into manageable steps so that you could do it too. And at the end of this video, I would like to share lots of different tricks that I've learned about having raised garden boxes, and I'll even sneak in a little giveaway. First thing I did was some research, and I love Joanna Gaines' garden, so I looked to see what made hers beautiful. She has lots of different arches and flowers mixed in, so I kind of want to see how I can implement that into the garden. Flowers just really bring so much beauty into the vegetable garden and kind of dress it up, so that's definitely something that I want to incorporate. Next is decide on the boxes. I had wood before, like I said, it didn't hold up, so I decided to go with galvanized. I love the look of adding lights into the garden too. I think that's just so beautiful. So once I had a plan, I was ready to go shopping, so I went ahead and bought one of these bigger boxes. They were $70 for a 8x4, and then when I bought these, they were $49. I got two of them, the 6x3s. And I love this style of arbor. It matches another one I have in my flower garden. It was kind of inexpensive, so I was a little worried about the quality, but I thought I'd give it a try. When all my boxes arrived, it was time to put everything together and get it in the space to see how it looked. So another big reason why I chose the galvanized is because you cannot use treated lumber in vegetable gardens because the chemicals they use to treat the lumber can leach into the soil. So you have to use untreated, which doesn't last very long. Plus I plan to paint these black, and I think that would just look so sharp and blend into the garden. You don't have to paint them, but I just felt like they were so shiny and kind of stood out, and I wanted them just to blend into the background. So you can definitely make your own boxes too. Things you want to look for is the depth needs to be 18 to 24 inches to keep the soil from drying out. And then also, whenever you are spacing them, you want to allow enough room for your wheelbarrow to go in between because you'll want to just have that convenience. Next, I put the garden boxes where they're going to be, and I measured around the space and left about 16 inches around on the shorter sides, and then I put stake and string up, that way I could have nice straight lines. My husband was ready to move some dirt, so I went ahead and took the boxes out real quick and took the string down, that way he could come in and start dumping dirt. Then I put my string back up and then shoveled around. So if you're ever creating a new bed, what you'll want to do is shovel on an angle, and that way the grass won't grow back into your space. You just want to create a nice trench to kind of discontinue the growth of grass. The spot I chose was the sunniest in our yard. You want at least 6 to 8 hours of sun, and unfortunately it was kind of unlevel, so we needed quite a bit of dirt to level that out. It just so happened that we were also getting rid of a flower bed near our patio, so we had plenty of dirt to go around. So we just leveled it all out and prepared it. So I wanted to create a weed barrier so that the weeds and grass won't grow back up into the boxes. So I used Scott's landscape fabric before I put my boxes back on. It's funny, the day started out at 39 degrees, and by mid-afternoon it was 81 degrees. In April in Ohio, you just never know how to dress. Using landscape staples really helps it stay in place over the years when you put mulch down. That way it won't kind of stick out. Then it was time to bring my boxes back in and get them ready for paint. My favorite outdoor paint to use is Rust-Oleum. I've used them for years for my patio furniture. It always covers so good, and I only have to ever really touch up the paint about every 2 years. But it covers so good and it goes on really nice. So I've learned if you're spray painting, if you go up and down versus side to side, it seems to cover a little bit better with less paint running. Also, it kind of helps you shake the bottle while you're spraying it. It just goes on so much easier. To save paint, I didn't spray all the way down on the inside of the boxes because I won't even be able to see that anyways. I did one coat on everything, and then it did need 2 coats in some places. Just for reference, I used about 4 bottles of spray paint. I forgot about how when you spray paint, the overspray gets on your hands, and black paint takes forever to get off. It took me 4 days to get this off my hands. I made sure and wore gloves the next time. Next up, it was time to fill our boxes. So in the past, I've purchased garden soil by Miracle-Gro and it does wonderful, but we had such good soil in that garden bed that I had composted leaves and things in there for years. It was just a perfect soil. My older kids got home from school and we found a toad and they were so excited. Seeing the kids enjoy the outdoors after being inside all winter makes me so happy. Being able to reuse my soil was such a money saver. I was so happy about that. So after sleeping on it, I decided I wanted a separate kind of hedge for my raspberries in the back instead of taking up space in my garden box. So I decided to add on an addition to the back of the boxes for that hedge. Plus I thought it'd be so cool to kind of have like a green hedge to kind of center the garden. I decided to add landscape fabric here too so I wouldn't constantly have to be weeding, and then I just cut a hole down the center to add in the bushes. My bushes did not love this space. They did not get enough sun or space to spread out. I'm so excited about moving them. After I kind of spread them out, I was surprised how many there were actually clumped up in that one small space. Take a look at the end of the row. My daughter planted a bubble wand and thought she was just so funny. Next, it was time to add my strawberries into the box. I really didn't want a huge space for them for now because I don't have a ton, and I had leftover garden edging, so I cut a piece to size and put it in there, and I think that'll work out great. My berries were not looking very good. They really got dried out last summer. But I went ahead and put them in there, and I wanted to buy some extra ones too, so I found a lady on Facebook Marketplace who had this big pack for sale for $12. My arbor took about 2 weeks to come in, so it was hard to wait for that. I got it together, and I'll have to say I wasn't super pleased with it. So it was missing 2 pieces of hardware, and then it did go together solid, but the top part was a little bit confusing and it never really went together the way it was supposed to. I kind of had to rig it up myself. But for the price and what it's for, I felt like it was worth it. I was really hoping that I could find one used on Facebook Marketplace, but I couldn't. But if you're looking to do this project, I'd check there for your garden boxes and arbors. I think you could probably find some there a lot cheaper than buying them brand new. For some reason it was like 4 inches wider than what it was supposed to be, which isn't really a big deal. But I tried to make it straight on the top and bottom and then really tightened down the screws and pushed it down, and it seems pretty solid. Finally, it was time for mulch. I love spreading mulch. I feel like it's so satisfying. It also means that you're finally done. The last finishing touch was some string lights. I already had these poles and lights, but I can link some similar ones below, as well as everything else that I used for this project. My daughter had just gotten off the bus again, and this time she had her snack, and she couldn't wait to come out and help me. I love when my kids come hang out with me. I grew up hanging out with my dad while he worked, and I just think it's so good for them to learn what I'm doing and watching. And we're done. As much as I love good design, it's important to have a successful vegetable garden as well. So let me show you some tips that I have for using raised garden beds. So the biggest perk to having boxes is that you can control the soil. So first of all, don't walk on your soil. It's better to have it nice and loose, that way the water can get down inside. And speaking of watering, only water at the roots. Don't water the leaves because then it doesn't get down to the base of the plant. So the biggest thing with raised beds is to not let the soil dry out. So you water almost every single day, and then also you'll want to put a layer of mulch on it. That way it'll keep the moisture in the soil. So I love using the composted blend of leaves and grass from mine that I make myself. That just gives it the best, and then if it works down into the dirt, it's even better for the soil. You can also use straw. It's really great to keep the moisture in, but do know that if you use straw that you'll be planting oat seeds with the straw, so you'll be pulling up oats all summer long. Another great thing to add to the soil in the fall is 1 to 2 layers of like a compost manure mix. You can buy it by the bag, and then you just kind of work that into the dirt and then cover it again with another layer of compost, and that keeps the soil protected from all the freezing and thawing and the rain washing away the nutrients. That way everything kind of stays exactly where you want it. You can also grow cover crops too, and that adds nutrients back into the soil. To make the most of your space, try to grow as many things as vertically as you can. That way you free up more space for more things. If you feel intimidated to start a vegetable garden, a really great way to start, and the way I started, is just by planting herbs. You can even do it in just pots and get used to that. They're very hardy and easy to grow. You'll learn to love having fresh herbs in your food, and then from there you can grow vegetables. So it's still mid-April here. We still have probably another month before I can actually put vegetables in the garden. But when that happens, I'd like to bring you along and show you the varieties I like to buy, kind of how I space them, as well as different things like companion planting, high intensity spacing, and drip irrigation to help you get the most out of your garden. So stay tuned for that one. If you don't want to miss it, feel free to subscribe and hit the notification button. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And then I want to hear from you. If you could put in the comments below some of your favorite gardening tips, I'd love to share that in my next video and give you a shout out. So if you've made it this far, I'd like to share my giveaway with you. So I would like to pick somebody at random in the comments and then send you a starter kit of my favorite seed varieties. So share your favorite gardening tip or maybe something you've learned from this video, and I'll pick a lucky winner. Good luck, and I'll see you next time. Bye!